interceptions that he saw you guys have last year, will guys who are able to get their hands on the ball and then, catch the ball, be kind of a differentiating factor in who plays and who doesn't?
Yeah, I think we had an ample amount of missed opportunities last year. And yeah, just we got to capitalize on those. I mean, that's the difference in points or changing momentum and changing the game around. At the end of the day, I think we've done a good job of getting better at that throughout camp. We still had some that we got to come up and away with. Now, that's not the only factor that's going to determine who's playing and who's out there and everything. But most definitely something we want to make sure we're capitalizing on this year, not leaving the field with any opportunities just left out there for us to make big plays and change the game and the momentum of the game.
How can Cruz's ball skills give another dynamic to the back end of the defense when you haven't had that type of player back there for the last few years?
Cruz, he does. I mean, you look at it last year. I think Cruz had 2 interceptions last year, and he actually had a missed op against Toledo. He got an interception, but he should have had another one versus those guys. And one against Syracuse on a backside seam where he should have had. So he had some out there, but he does have good ball skills. But one thing about him and just Cruz's mentality in general and how he goes about practice and tackling and angles and everything, he attacks the football. And that's one thing, when that ball's in the air, you got to treat it like it's yours. It's not the receiver. We call it takeaways, not turnovers. We're taking the ball away from the offense, and that's the mentality that you have to have. And that's what Cruz has when that football's in the air. It's his, and he's going to take it. So now we just got to carry that over and, make sure we get them, and hopefully we'll have some opportunities on Saturday to come away with something.
Josh Guerriere is a guy whose name we heard quite a bit over the course of camp. Just what's your confidence in him, just in his game readiness, being able to toss him out there and just feel confident in his ability to hack it?
Yeah, Josh is he's a talented football player. Josh has a lot of ability, but at the end of the day, too, this is Josh's first Tuesday going out there in a game week, and, we got some things to clean up, but I think for a freshman and to be a true freshman, which, honestly, I think this is the first time that we've had a true freshman in the back end in the 2 deep in the last 8 years. But that's a testament to him of how he went out there, he approached it, he was an early enrollee, and just his mindset of just how he practiced every single day and got better. I mean, last night he was texting me, I think at 7 o'clock, and we're going back and forth at 7:45, and then he starts to apologize that he's texting me too much. I'm like, I love it, man. We're getting ready for game day. So you guys are going to see him on Saturday. Josh Guerriere is going to be on that football field on Saturday, and I look forward to going to see him play. And, he's built confidence with me and with us, throughout camp and spring ball, and now we want to see that executed in live, real action, too, and hopefully build even more confidence with us in situational football and get a chance to see him out there more as well.
There are a lot of true freshmen, not just on the safety side, but all across the 2D. What does that say about the youth of this team?
Yeah, I think, honestly, I could be wrong. I don't know. But that's probably something you may see more of as time goes on, too, right? We had, 24 kids come in last year, and I think 18 were early enrollees. So a lot of these guys, they're getting in that spring session, and they're getting those 15 practices in. You're getting so many kids here earlier to prepare themselves, because it's hard when you get here during the summer and you get here in June, and you just have short time. You have the OTAs or when the player-led stuff and coaches aren't around, then they don't get till camp, and camp's so expedited, and we're ready for that season. So we do have a good number in there. I think we have some good youth, and I think we have some good older leadership as well. I think we have some great older leadership, and we got some good youth that puts their head down and work, and they're coachable and want to be led and work hard.
Speaking of that older leadership, what did you want to see out of Javon this offseason, spring, summer, leading into this year?
Javon, leadership. One big thing, Javon was voted a captain. I mean, that says a lot. I don't think we've had a captain in the back end since 2020 with DeMar. Then 2019, Dane Jackson was a captain. But, that's so much respect and trust out of your teammates. So that's a big thing right there. Javon has been a dependable legwork of our back end for the last 2 years. I think he's a 2-year starter. Out of our 25 games, I think he started 22 of the last 25. As a coach, we have that trust in Javon. And, he's dependable when it comes down to communication, making sure everything's aligned right, everything's set. Like, I sleep at night knowing Javon's back there and we're going to be aligned right and everything's going to be in order in the back end. All right, now we're just waiting. The reality is for some some of those big splash plays too from Vaughn. You know, when that ball's in there, him going to get it. All right, when that tackle, him shooting that window and going to make that play, and not just always being safe. So I think we have seen some of the more out of Javon of that throughout camp, that he has done a good job. So, you know, that's what I'm waiting a little bit more of as a coach, and excited to see on Saturday and these next few Saturdays out of Javon.
Looking ahead to Duquesne, they're bringing a quarterback on Saturday. I believe this is his 7th collegiate season.
Yeah.
Guy who's played a lot of ball. Just what's sticking out in terms of the film study, the preparation about how they can attack you offensively?
Yeah, it's interesting because you got to watch two things, right? So you're watching Duquesne, and you're watching their quarterback from last year, who was a very successful kid, and you're watching the scheme standpoint from Duquesne. But then for Tyler's film, we got to go and watch his film from last year at Gardner-Webb, you know, and watch those games to see just his feel and who he is as a quarterback, and sort of combine those two. He's talented. I think he was at East Tennessee State before that, and I think he threw for over 5,000 yards, 6,000 yards in his 5 seasons of being there. He's a mature kid. He's a smart kid. He's a confident kid. He can move around and create some things in that pocket and extend plays. So we have to make sure we do a good job of locking onto our guys, not having bad eyes, because some things can get extended longer. But you know, when you're at college that long and you've been in meeting rooms and you've learned from so many different people, he's seen a lot of different looks. He's seen a lot of football. You know, so we're ready for a kid that's going to be back there, mature and smart, and be able to handle different things that we throw at him. But he's a talented football player.
Corey, what about Isabella? What stands out to you about him?
He's good. I mean, he is a very, he's a football player. If you ask me, you know, how to explain him, he's a football player, okay? I think he has high football IQ. You see him move inside and outside and then do different things with him, and him just come away with catches, sit in holes, understand leverage and coverage. I just think he's a really good football player. So we're excited. I mean, very talented brother. Brother played on Sundays. Comes from a good football family as well. But he's a good football player. So we're very well aware of him and what he can do.
You have guys like, you know, you mentioned Cruz, and you talk about Sean Lee, guys who played on both sides of the ball in high school, were like sort of stars, right? You mentioned Dane Jackson, Braylon was the same way. Do you like those kind of guys, like particularly to play DB, like, you know, a guy who's maybe a running quarterback in addition to playing on both sides of the ball in high school? Do they fit well?
I think you love a quarterback in the secondary, a guy that plays both ways. Like you say, you talk about Cruz. Cruz was both ways for Steel Valley. You talk about Dane at Quaker Valley. You talk about Sean Lee. Josh was a Wildcat quarterback his junior year. And you just like guys that play both ways in general, right? Because they have just that football playmaking ability of making plays. So, you know, when we do watch film, we like to see guys that are DBs, that you see them on offense. If it's that quarterback, receiver, running back, Bray was a running back, Bray was a punt returner, kick returner. Kyle Lewis was a punt returner, you know, in high school. So you like to see guys that are versatile. And like I say, seeing that playmaking ability, because they do the same thing on defense as well. They find a way to find the ball. So yeah, you like to see guys that play both ways, most definitely.
Your unit gets a good look at Eli Holstein and the quarterbacks. How have you seen him progress from year 1 to year 2?
It's good. I'm excited, and even to see Eli from, you know, you see the season to the spring till now, and just to see his growth. Just secondary guy on the other side of the ball. You can see Eli's confidence, and you can see him processing quick and going from 1 to 2 to 3 and to the next thing right now. And just him having fun out there, and him growing, right? Him growing as a leader, because last year, Eli, and not to say we're not always in a battle, but last year, you know, Eli, I think, was 2 on that depth chart at this point, and you know, battling to get out there as that starting quarterback, and now sort of as he's leading that way as that starter and having that confidence and building with the team. So I think you're seeing growth from Eli from that standpoint, as well as growth from him just throughout his processing as quarterback.
Coach, you talked a lot about depth throughout training camp. How do you feel about the depth overall, and specifically in the secondary?
I feel good. You know, I feel good. I think we've developed it throughout camp, but at the same time too, you know, I look at those safeties this morning. Do I like who we have? Absolutely. They haven't played a ton of football for us either, though, right? Like, I love Josh, but he's yet to play Saturdays for us. You know, Javon's got a lot of starts under his belt. I think Cruz had about 250 snaps last year. You got Kavir Baines, who played a ton of football for UC Davis, but not for us yet. Then you got Alan Bryant, who I'm very confident in, but now we got to go out there and execute. Then the same thing on the outsides. You got Mondo, Lynham, we call him Mondo. Then you got Rashad, who's been here for a while. You got those guys coming back, played a lot of football. Then you got Shadarian Harrison, who played a lot of special teams last year, right? Then you got Sean Lee, Nigel, Rashawn Murray, which not a ton of snaps on Saturday. So we look forward to getting those guys integrated and getting some more confidence in them of seeing them on Saturdays as well. But when you talk about just camp and everything, they've approached it the right way. They've worked hard, they got better, and they're highly coachable every single day.
Corey, along with Javon, Kyle obviously is a defensive captain. What did he do to earn that distinction as the only junior as a captain?
Who's that, Kyle?
Yeah.
I don't know, be here every day at 5:30, work hard. Obviously you have to ask the players, but I have the utmost respect for Kyle Lewis. That is the reality. Anybody you hear, you always hear them say he's one of the first kids in the building, and his approach to the film. And I know Kyle has been voted for All-American teams, all ACC, stuff like that. And if you came in here and you spent the day here, you wouldn't think it by the way he carries himself, like any ego or anything like that. Like he just shows up, his head down, and continues to work. And obviously I think guys respect that. But his hard work, it's not just his ability to make plays, which he's a very talented football player, but he backs it up with his hard work, and people respect that.
From a defensive perspective, what have you seen out of the wide receiver room this camp?
Good. I'm excited about those guys. They got a lot of speed over there. Sometimes it gives me a heartache. But I like it. We got some good additions. Deuce Spann, talented football player. That kid is tall, long, and can run. You got Blue Hicks was a great addition from Louisville. He hit us in one scrimmage where it was the speed runner, the road runner or whatever, just straight past us. So Blue is a talented football player. Then obviously you got the returners in Kenny, then Raphael. So I'm excited to see those guys another year in the system, and another year with Eli. But I think there are some great additions to the roster overall to make that room even deeper. And with that said, with their depth, it's even helping us on a defense, because now when we do our scout periods, we got some good players down there challenging us from that side of the ball at receiver too. So it's been great of helping us out during these Duquesne scout rocks periods as well.
Anything else?
All right, appreciate it.